Ever hear a song that takes you back and then realize you've got no clue who even sang it? 1969 was one of those years. Psychedelia was peaking, soul was shimmering, pop was getting weird, in the best way. But tucked between the big names were songs that came out of nowhere, lit up the charts, and then vanished just as fast. Today on Americast, we're digging up 10 unforgettable one-hit wonders from 1969. Songs that made their mark, then disappeared into the rear view. And if you stick around, we've got a couple of bonus tracks you might not remember, but we promise you haven't forgotten how they made you feel. More today than yesterday. Spiral Staircase. Some love songs shout. This one just smiled.
I don't remember what day it was.
It was the kind of love song that felt like it was smiling. Simple words, bright horns, and a feeling that hit home. Pat Upton wrote it after a missed chance with someone he couldn't forget. And maybe that's why it landed the way it did. The song climbed to 12 on the Billboard Hot 100 and felt like it was everywhere for a moment, playing in diners, car radios, and school dances. But more than that, it felt personal, because we've all had someone like that.
All I know is that I fell in love with you.
Someone we didn't say enough to, or said it too late. And this song, in just a few simple lines, says what many of us couldn't. Spiral Staircase never had another big hit, but this one didn't need backup. It stuck. Because even now, all these years later, it still brings back that one moment, or that one person. My Pledge of Love, Joe Jeffrey Group. This one sounded like Motown, but it came from Cleveland.
I woke up this morning, baby. I had you on my mind.
My Pledge of Love hit the airwaves in 1969 with smooth vocals, steady rhythm, and a chorus that felt like a promise.
I pledge to love, darling, to you.
Joe Jeffrey didn't have a big label or a superstar producer, just a voice full of heart and a song that felt real. It reached number 14 on the Billboard charts, and for a little while it was everywhere. The Joe Jeffrey Group never had another big hit, but this one stayed, because some songs don't need a follow-up. They just need one perfect moment. In the year 2525, Zager and Evans.
In the year 2525.
The 60s were ending, and the future sounded terrifying. In the year 2525 showed up like a warning. No chorus, no hook, just a slow-burning prophecy about test tube babies, machines taking over, and humanity fading away. It was strange. It was serious. And for a lot of people, it was impossible to stop listening. Two guys from Nebraska recorded it in a basement. No big budget, no gimmicks, just a bleak vision that somehow hit number one across the US, UK, and just about everywhere else. They vanished from the charts, but the countdown never really stopped. Polk Salad Annie, Tony Joe White, Swamp Rock wasn't supposed to go mainstream, but this one found a way.
I used to know a girl lived down there, and she'd go out in the evenings and pick her a mess of it.
Polk Salad Annie didn't sound like anything else on the radio. Gritty guitar, a deep Louisiana drawl, and a story about a girl scraping by in the deep south. Poor folks, wild greens, and more than a few alligators. It wasn't polished, it wasn't pretty, but maybe that's what made it real.
And pick her a mess of poke salad and carry you home in a toast salad.
The song climbed to number 8 on the Billboard charts, and even Elvis took notice, adding it to his live shows and borrowing Tony Joe's slow swagger on stage. White never landed another big hit, but he didn't disappear either. And Polk Salad Annie? It stuck around. A little raw, a little strange, and unforgettable if you heard it once. When I Die, Motherlode. It wasn't loud or flashy, just one of those songs that stayed with you. When I Die felt different, soulful, haunting, and quietly powerful. The horns were rich, the vocals carried a gospel weight, and the lyrics cut deeper than most hits dared to. It reached number 18 on the Billboard charts, and for a little while, this Canadian band was everywhere, even if most listeners didn't know much about them. Maybe you heard it on a rainy afternoon, or late at night when the lyrics suddenly felt personal. Maybe it found you during a season of letting go, or reminded you of someone you still think about now and then. Motherlode never had another moment like it, but this one lingered. Jesus is a Soul Man, Lawrence Reynolds. It was the kind of title that made you do a double take, and then you heard it, and probably couldn't stop humming it.
Jesus is a soul man.
Jesus is a Soul Man blended Southern twang with a soulful groove, a little gospel, a little country, and just enough funk to throw everyone off.
He lives in my heart. Jesus is a soul man.
Some folks didn't know what to make of it. Others just smiled and turned it up. The song climbed to number 28 on the Billboard charts, and suddenly, Lawrence Reynolds, a Mississippi-born country singer, was on national TV singing a track that didn't fit neatly into any box. He never had another big hit, but this one found its moment. Grazing in the Grass, The Friends of Distinction. Some songs just feel like sunshine, and this was one of them. Originally an instrumental, Grazing in the Grass got a whole new life in 1969 when the Friends of Distinction added lyrics, harmonies, and a smile you could hear through the speakers. It climbed to number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100, and for a little while, it was everywhere. In car rides, backyard barbecues, and lazy Sunday afternoons. They never had another hit quite this big, but this one stuck. Easy, bright, and impossible to hear without feeling just a little better. Good old rock and roll, Cat Mother and the All Night Newsboys. It hit like a jukebox stuck on fast forward, and somehow it worked. Good old rock and roll. Mashed together a string of 50s hits into one wild garage rock medley. Gritty guitars, raw vocals, and a rhythm that didn't slow down. It wasn't polished. It wasn't trying to be. But it was a blast. Maybe you remember it blasting from a jukebox at a diner or a party, the kind of song that made you want to get up and dance, even if you didn't know all the words. Maybe it reminded you of the music your parents played. The song climbed to number 21, produced by none other than Jimi Hendrix. Cat Mother never made it back to the charts, but this one, it stuck. Loud, rebellious, and just the right kind of messy. Oh Happy Day, the Edwin Hawkins Singers. It wasn't supposed to be a hit, not on the radio, not in the clubs, not anywhere outside church. But in 1969, Oh Happy Day broke through anyway, a full-on gospel song led by a youth choir from Oakland, recorded on limited gear and unlimited spirit. Dorothy Morrison's lead vocal soared, and the joy in that track cut through everything else on the dial. It reached number 4 on the Billboard charts and didn't stop there. Maybe you first heard it on a Sunday morning in church, or maybe it caught you by surprise at a club or over the radio. That joyful chorus hitting out of nowhere and lifting the whole room. The Edwin Hawkins Singers never landed another top 40 hit. But this one became something bigger, a moment of light that still shows up when you need it most. Smile a Little Smile for Me, The Flying Machine soft, sweet, and just a little sad underneath.
You really should accept this time he's gone for good.
Smile a Little Smile for Me drifted onto the airwaves in 1969 like a breeze through a half-open window. Sung by British band The Flying Machine, it told the story of Rosemary, heartbroken, hurting, and being gently asked to keep smiling anyway.
So darling, dry your eyes. So many other guys would give the world.
It climbed to number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became one of those quiet favorites. Maybe you were going through something similar, or maybe you knew someone who was. And somehow, this song, soft as it was, helped you hold it together. The Flying Machine didn't stay in the spotlight, but this track did, because sometimes all it takes is one voice telling you it's okay to keep going, even when your heart's not quite ready. Tracy, the Cufflinks. It was one of those songs you didn't mean to memorize, but somehow you knew every word. Tracy was all sunshine and sing-along hooks. It hit number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100 and, for a while, felt like it was everywhere. On radios, in roller rinks, maybe even blasting from a friend's bedroom window. What most people didn't know? The entire song was sung by one guy, Ron Dante, who was also behind Sugar Sugar by the Archies at the same time. One unforgettable year. Some soared, some surprised. All disappeared just as fast as they arrived. But the melodies stuck around, on radios, in memories, and maybe in your head right now. This was 1969. One-hit wonders that left their mark, then vanished. Drop a comment with your favorite and hit subscribe if you love rediscovering the songs time almost forgot. Because sometimes one hit is all it takes.